In every single moment, we are choosing the story that we're living. We are choosing who we are being. We're choosing our future. We're choosing our reality. And the reasoning behind this is because a lot of us don't realize it, but every single morning when we wake up, we are basically deciding who we're going to be that day. And for a lot of people, this is just natural for our brains to do. We will always naturally associate our day, what we're living, our future, with the known, with the familiar. And this is why a lot of people will live in a sort of victimhood, in a negative mentality. And if you're watching this video, it found you for a reason, because when we choose to change the narrative, when we choose to take back our power, when we choose to decide that, oh yeah, I am the creator of my life, things are going to start to shift for you. And when you become really aware of any negative thought patterns, any negative self-limiting beliefs, any stories that you've been literally living with, even just waking up and, we remember our pain. We think, oh yeah, like, my back's gonna hurt today. Let me think about my back pain. We think about the stress in our life. We think about that one colleague at work that always gets on our nerves. We think about how, the traffic is always so bad in the morning. Whatever we're basically telling ourselves, the stories we're creating for ourselves, what we're creating from past experiences. We don't realize it, but we are just choosing the same over and over and over and over again. And that's why for a lot of people, we don't really maybe know how to change that narrative, because all we've ever known is our stress or our pain or our struggles or the things that aren't going, well in our lives. But the key factor here is that we always have a choice. We always have a choice to change things for ourselves. And I was just having a conversation with a girlfriend about this because, again, a lot of us are just sleeping on the fact that our internal world is always creating our external perception, our external reality. And so when we get really deliberate and intentional around, okay, what path do I want to start walking down? And it's almost asking yourself, how would the person that I want to be act, think, and feel today in this moment? And it really doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. It's just choosing in this moment, taking the present moment and deciding, okay, I would be, if I was living a life that was really aligned with me, if I was living as my highest self in my highest timeline, I would be waking up excited about my day. I would be getting out of bed, ready to look for all the good in my life. I would be spending time in nature, or I would spend these next 5 minutes before my day starts meditating. Or I would journal, or I would, have my list of things that I want to get done today going, or I would make time for that friend that I haven't seen in a long time, or, I would pitch that offer that I have in my business or at my job, whatever it is. And when we step into that new frequency, it will feel scary because it's the unknown. And when we step into the unknown, we don't realize it, but in every single moment that we do that, we are creating a new reality. We're creating a new future. We're creating a new timeline for ourselves because we're choosing differently. So if you're someone that feels really stuck or lost, or just like you can't get out of this dark hole that you're in, or maybe you have a lot of negative self-talk going on, or you just feel like life is happening to you, you have no control over anything in your life, if you were to start waking up every single morning and choosing differently, like deciding, okay, I am choosing to have different thoughts. I'm going to choose to see the good in my day, no matter how small it is. Even if you just see, okay, like someone let me in traffic, or someone waved at me on the side of the street when I was on my morning walk, or, this really great opportunity came in my email, or my friend called me and I got to catch up with them. When we look for the good, more positive, aligned, uplifting experiences will naturally come towards us because we're attracting it. And that kind of is the power of the quantum field, our frequencies, the power of attraction. Like attracts like. And when you break it down like that, it's actually really simple. And when you start to see it like that, you can't unsee it, because once you start to see, oh, whoa, like I'm in a negative thought spiral, I can choose differently. Or, you know, something maybe not very ideal is coming into my world and I can't control it, but I can control how I react to it. And when we start to do it maybe on a smaller scale first, like again, if we're stuck in traffic and we're used to being annoyed and we're used to spending that time pissed off and swearing at people and just like, oh my God, I'm such a victim. If we can start to see that as like, okay, like maybe this is actually giving me time for me. Maybe it's a time that I can listen to a podcast or a guided meditation. Maybe it's giving me a chance to call my mom because I'm stuck in traffic. Maybe it's just giving me time to decompress after my day, or like maybe the sun is shining on me. Like, how can I find the positive in this moment? And you do that with anything. It's choosing how we want to show up in our lives. And that's really all it is, you know, like no one has a perfect life. Things are always going to happen. There's always going to be struggle. There's always going to be events and situations that come in and shake things up a little bit. But the difference between someone who is living a life in alignment and with that abundant energy and with the frequencies that match, you know, things that they want to call in, versus someone who is maybe having like the worst luck, or you know, just they're having a tough time. The only difference is that one person is choosing to see it in a different light than the other. It's just a matter of how you want to perceive your reality. And even for me right now, I think about, okay, you know, I'm really in a space of the unknown. I'm kind of taking a break from work. I'm taking kind of like some time off of social media. I'm definitely operating on a different level. I'm a little bit sick right now. And I could see this time as, you know, a lot of fear coming in, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of fear around money, around rushing this process for myself, around just feeling, you know, certain narratives could be like, oh, I'm a failure, or, you know, I'm not doing as much as other people, or I'm not as far along as I should be, like all these narratives that have definitely come in for me. I can choose it to see that way. I can choose it to be a really, really hard, struggling, just all around, you know, shitty time. That could be a narrative for me. And I was really stuck in that place for several months of just feeling lost and stuck and like, what am I doing with my life? Who am I? I'm in this new chapter. And if you've seen my other recent YouTube video around, you know, this in-between space that sometimes we get in life, everyone experiences it, but for some reason we feel so resistant to change and evolution. And if we don't have it all figured out, it's like, oh my God, I'm the only one who doesn't have their life figured out. And it's like, no one really does. Or the way that I'm choosing to see this time of rest and listening to my body and slowing down and just knowing, okay, there is no rush. I'm in no hurry to get to where I inevitably want to go. It doesn't mean that I'm just, you know, sitting on the couch doing nothing all day, but I am giving myself more time to integrate this new version of myself and get to know myself and have fun and not take things so seriously, and just trust that, you know, the most aligned things will find me and the universe has my back and I am supported. By choosing to be in that energy of trust and surrender and abundance and just knowing it's all going to be okay, I'm operating on a different frequency in this time period. And so things are naturally coming towards me, you know, opportunities are happening without me really having to do it much. People and things are coming into my life that are more aligned because I'm just operating from this frequency of Yes, I trust. Like, this is part of the journey. And that is when we have that fork in the road of we can either learn through love, we can operate on a frequency of love and abundance and trust, or we could operate from that place of fear and lack and stress and worry, which then really no miracles come into our life because we're not attracting them. We're not on that frequency level. So having that reflective period of how am I operating? What path am I choosing to go down? And knowing that it is always within your power to choose differently. And I know that when you're in the thick of it and when you're just really struggling, you're going through it, it's just like, how could I possibly see any situation right now that I'm in as an opportunity or as happening for me or as positive even? I get that because I've been there too. And it is challenging, but all it is a decision. It's a decision every single day, every single moment, as much as you need to come back to, I trust the path that I'm on. I trust that I'm supported. I trust that I'm provided for. And I know that whatever I'm going through, whatever is happening in this time in my life, it is not forever. And it's adding to my evolution and growth. It's adding to my timeline. It's helping me become who I'm meant to be. Because without, again, it's not that we have to struggle to have beauty, but there is always going to be that duality. And usually our biggest hardships are what create the biggest evolutions. And when we ask for more in our life, maybe you've asked for more. Maybe you want more freedom, more abundance, more love, more alignment. A lot of things will have to leave your life. People, things, situation, jobs, they will shoot out of your life when you're no longer on that frequency. And so sometimes being in this middle phase, we haven't quite, stepped into our new timeline, but we're definitely not on our old timeline anymore. So we're just kind of in this in between. And that's okay too. This is part of the journey. This is part of the path. The journey is the destination. So how can you start to turn whatever you're going into the energy of love? I am ready to learn through love, as Gabby Bernstein, I think that's her name. An amazing book, The Universe Has Your Back, changed my life. You were always supported, you were always divinely guided, and you were never ever late for your life. You're always right on time. Everything that you're going through right now, it's exactly right. And if you choose to see it through love, through an abundant outlook, to knowing that everything is just around the corner, it's on its way to you, it's already yours, and you start truly believing that and sitting in that energy, there doesn't need to be worry. There doesn't need to be stress. There doesn't need to be a rush. You're right on time, and it's going to happen. Choosing which energy you want to operate from changes everything. I'm curious to hear in the comments if you've experienced this shift, if you've been able to find the frequency to operate from that allows abundance in your life, that allows trust, that allows you to just know that you're provided for. You got this.